but we also have righteousness as part of that package. It says that nobody who believes in him shall ever be put to shame. What's the context here? The Romans 10 is talking about people who were trying to be righteous before God. And they were trying to be righteous before God in their own behavior. And what Paul is saying here, you're not righteous based on your behavior. You're righteous based on what? Belief. So when you believe right, then you behave right. And they've been trying to do something in their behavior. And he says, no, it's based on your belief. And because of your belief, you'll never be put to shame. Now, let's be clear about the difference we talked about last week between guilt and shame. So shame is, read that with me, is what? Disappointment with self. Now, disappointment, not talking about somebody else. We're saying with self from what? The guilt of sin. You have this in your notes from last week. Guilt, read this with me, please. Guilt is what? I feel bad because of my sin. Got a righteous nature as a believer, but sin, and now I feel bad. I knew I shouldn't have slapped her. I knew I shouldn't have thought about what I said about that. I knew I should not go and take off her wig. I feel bad. That's guilt. Shame says what? I am bad because of my sin. You see the difference? Guilt is I feel bad. So if I do something, I got to feel differently. But now shame says I am through and through. I'm just bad because of shame. And what does it say? That the one who believes in Jesus will no longer be put to shame, because now our righteous nature lives in us and not a sinful nature instead. So I want to go back to this one last thing. I want to spend time to finish up here about sin consciousness. Sin consciousness, and this is not going to be our only time talking about this, but for today as we end this, imputation addresses sin consciousness. Just say that with me. Imputation addresses sin consciousness. So I want to talk about this for a minute here. So read this with me from Hebrews 10:2, if you would, please. For if it were otherwise, would these sacrifices not have stopped being offered, since the worshipers had once for all been cleansed? They would no longer have any guilt or consciousness of sin. Imputation addresses sin consciousness. Now I want to talk about it. Really spend some time here. So I need y'all to look up here. Y'all recognize the people up here.
I got them at home.
Look at TJ listen. TJ here, this all greased up, just flashing. Look at Jaden over there. So this was at our wedding. And so at our wedding, and now have y'all noticed, I have never seen Sister Paula and Sister Paulette miss a camera. Everybody else looking the other way. Look, they're going to find that flash bulb somewhere. They're going to find it together. So this was our wedding. The next day, we flew out to Hawaii. Now, what you all didn't know on our trip to Hawaii, a couple of things happened. Well, my honeymoon, but the idea that on our way out there, we're in the plane, and the stewardess, flight person on the plane with us who didn't pay for a ticket, decides right in front of my newlywed, we just been married a couple of minutes, go hit on me, kitty cat, right in front of my wife. All of a sudden, that Dudley in Southeast D.C. came up out of her. We sit like, she's like right in front of me. And so then girlfriend getting tired about that thing. And so she said, what's that? She said, show the ring. So when we landed. So when they got out there, this was years ago, and this is when, I guess, Dancing with the Stars was coming out, and Jerry Rice had been on TV. So now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll sit through a presentation for a timeshare for some tickets. In a heartbeat, I'm going to tell you right now. If I'm going to save $200 to sit through a timeshare when I'm not going to buy it anyway, bring it. So we in this timeshare presentation. Here's this man behind us talking about, what do you think Jerry Rice doing in a timeshare? Thought I was Jerry Rice. What do you think Jerry Rice is doing in a timeshare presentation? Well, he said his money got all jacked. So they take right there behind me. So while the presentation going on, they had food over here. Well, the food, I didn't want to go to waste. So when I ate, when it was empty, I went back for more. And so I'm like, don't we going back for more? I'm like, you hungry? So I went and kept on going back. So, I mean, probably about like 10 people asked me for my autograph thinking I was Jerry Rice. I told my wife, I said, the next one that asked me, I'm going to sign it and charge $10. I'll tell you right now. So all this is going on. So the focus was, I had to focus so long on reminding people I'm not Jerry Rice. I couldn't even enjoy the beauty of Hawaii just for that moment. Now I started enjoying it later because my focus was there on not being Jerry Rice. Now, so then what are you talking about here? So sin consciousness versus righteous consciousness. You can only have two. You can only either be sin conscious or righteous conscious. Are you with me on that? With me? Sin conscious or what?
Righteous.
Okay. Imputation addresses sin consciousness. All right, let's keep going here. Read this with me, please. You give power to what you focus on.
Amen.
Whatever you focus on, you're going to give power to it. So if you're going to focus on sin, what are you giving power to?
Sin.
You focus on righteousness, what are you giving power to?
Righteousness.
And so many times we've been focused so much on sin and not trying to do sin. If the truth is told, we sin more. Because we thought we gave power. Come on now. You go back, that's what the problem with the law was. As long as they saw the law in front of them, they couldn't do it. And they kept on falling because they kept giving power to it. All they focused on was the law and sin. The more we give power to what we focus on. Let me put it this way. Have you ever tried to break a bad habit? Anybody try to break a bad habit?
Yes.
Think about this. The more you thought about that bad habit, the more you did it.
Pick my feet up.
We thought that by thinking about it, we're going to stop doing it. But the more we thought about it, the more ingrained it got in us. So after a while, we just stopped trying, because after a while it became automatic because we said, I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop doing it. God, you get me out of this. I swear for God, I'm never going to do it again. I'm going to stop doing it. And we kept on thinking about it, and we gave it more power than it should have had. So if I keep focusing on sin, I'm going to give sin more power. But if I focus on righteousness, what am I going to do? Give righteousness. Well, come on now. That's just part of it. Y'all okay so far? Because I'm about to go deeper now. If you're on the shallow end, y'all you good? Don't dare. Okay, we're going to the deep end. Here we go. So here's the point. Read this with me. What you focus on expands. So if I focus on sinning, what's going to expand? Sinning. If I focus on righteousness, what's going to expand?
Righteousness.
Wherever my focus is, that's one who's going to get power and expand. So we become sin conscious. What does that mean? That all we're doing, when we end our day and go back and recap all our sins, we just giving sin more power. We giving sin. Now that's not. So how should we pray if we sin? God, I thank you right now by the blood of Jesus. I've been forgiven for slapping her. So in Jesus' name. So instead of saying, God, I went through here and we nailed. I'm telling you, I used to go through this and I would go through and try to think about everything I did wrong that whole day for my prayer and go to bed every night depressed. So the idea was, so I kept on, whatever you focus on is going to expand and we give power to it. So what am I saying here? Come on, believers, we got to start focusing on righteousness. We got to start focusing on who we are in Christ. We got to start focusing that we are acceptable. We got to start focusing on the favor God's given us. Because the more we focus on sin and become sin conscious, it's going to have power and expand. The more we go back in and have righteousness consciousness, at that point it's going to get that power and expand as well. So we talked about this last week. So in skiing, so in the ski, what do? Look in the direction you want to go. So if you want to go in righteous direction, don't look in sin's direction. If you want to go in sin's direction, don't look in righteous direction. You got to look and focus in the direction you want to go. So I am decreeing and declaring today that we're going to start looking in the direction of righteousness and not keep on looking at sin and recognize we are the righteousness of God. We've been made righteous. We've been made righteous. We've been made righteous. And as a result, we're going to focus on righteousness and not keep focusing on sin. Sin, conscious, righteousness. Now, here we go. This is we're about to dive off the dive board now. Read this with me. Righteous consciousness. Read this with me. Be conscious of the gift of righteousness in you. Where's the gift of righteousness? Okay, keep going. There is what?
No sin.
In the believer. Keep going. Sin is inside. Outside, but not in the believer. Now think about this now. Now I know you first hear it. If you look at that with a fixed mindset, you think that's heretical. But when what's the nature that we have in us right now? Righteousness. So if righteousness is in there, and there's only one thing that can be in the account, only one. Righteousness is in here. So if only righteousness can be in, what has to be out? Sin. So a believer can sin, but sin is not our nature. Come on. But the believer can, why do we sin then? If our nature is righteous, we sin because our mind has not been renewed. See, folk can get saved. Now, we are a spirit. We possess a soul. We live in a body. Come on again. We are a spirit. We possess a soul. We live in a body. When we got saved, our spirit got transformed to be just like Jesus. Just like Jesus. Just like Jesus. But our mind did not change automatically. Our opinions did not change automatically. And our will didn't change. So the most important thing a person that's not saved can do is to get saved. And the most important thing a person that is saved can do is to transform our mind. If our spirit is already like Jesus, then when I start transforming my mind, I'm going to start thinking like Jesus and acting like Jesus and responding like Jesus. And after a while, not going to sin because my mind will be in alignment with my spirit. You are with me? Sin is not inside of you as a believer. Because you only got room for one. It's either going to be righteousness, it's either going to be sin. And the reason we keep sinning is because our minds have not been renewed. Romans 12, please write that down. Romans 12, 1 and 2. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Read this with me one more time. Righteous consciousness. Be conscious of the gift of righteousness in you. There is no sin in the believer. Sin is outside, but not in the believer. So read this now. Christians no longer have a sin nature. What kind of nature do we have? Righteous nature. So sin is outside of us then. Now, charge only one account, and this is the last part I want you to see here. Let's read this one together. So, sin consciousness. Get this now. What are we talking about? When I'm saying sin consciousness, I'm talking about always focusing on sin. Read that with me. Sin consciousness leads away from God into sadness, doubts, and fear. The more I focus on my sins, it's going to lead me away from the grace of God, away from what God has for me. I'm going to have doubts, fears, and sadness. Keep going. Grace consciousness or righteous consciousness leads us to the place, to God, where there is peace. So our role is to end up being free from sin consciousness. Are you with me? I just want to remind us again. Whatever we focus on, whatever we focus on, what do we do? Let's go back to finish that up. Whatever we focus on, what do?
It expands.
What does it do? It expands. But the first one was it does what? Give power to it. You keep focusing on that relative, you giving power to that relative. You keep focusing on that habit, you giving power to that habit. You keep focusing on that addiction, you giving power to that addiction. And not only are you giving power to it, it's going to expand. So now we start focusing